Welcome back to another episode of our NHL 19 franchise mode, where we've expanded the league to 32 teams and brought back the Quebec City Nordiques. I am the final Knight Errant, and thank you for checking us out today. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you give it a like, hit that thumbs up button, and also hit that subscribe button. Make sure the notification bell is turned on, and you'll be notified every single time we put up a brand new episode. Today, we're going to finish up our off-season by signing a couple free agents. We're looking for a defenseman and a backup goalie. And then we're going to get to next season and see if we can get a good chunk of it done. We may stop halfway. We may stop at the trade deadline. We may, if we're doing really, really well, go all the way to the end of the year. We'll see. So that is the plan for this episode. We'll see if that comes to be. Sometimes things change, but we do appreciate you checking us out. Last time we were here, we showed you the team, and we talked about the need for a defenseman. So that top line shutdown defenseman, or top line defenseman that's really going to kind of get us where we need to go. And looking here in the draft, Morgan Rielly really was kind of the only one. We were looking at Clefbaum too, but I don't know if I trust that number. The 87 there is, it's only got 2-bar scouting, and let's be honest, that 89 overall is 4-bar scouted, and it's really good. The question is, do we really want to spend 7 years with Morgan Rielly when we've got so many really good defensemen coming? And I think the answer is possibly. We may be able to use him for the first few years while they grow on that top line, and then offload him to the West sometime after that when he's got like 3 years left, when he's like 31 or 32. So that wouldn't be too bad. Morgan Rielly seeking $6.5 million. We've got $24 million in cap space available. We have the space for him. We might as well use him, right? Use it. So what I'm thinking is we go ahead and pick up Rielly here. And we'll also try to pick up a depth goalie here. Not a depth goalie, but a backup goalie. Unfortunately, Ben Bishop wants 2 years, and we really don't want 2 years. Well, you know, we don't really have a goalie that is going to be there for us. I don't think they're going to grow quick enough. So Ben Bishop for 2 years wouldn't be awful. Ben Bishop for 2 years. We got Dubnyk as an option, and then you've got Carter Hutton here, and Carter Hutton may not be bad. Carter Hutton may not be bad. It's going to be hard to say. We don't know very much about him for some odd reason. We just don't have him uncovered at all, but Carter Hutton typically is pretty good, and I like his, well, to be honest, I like his cost. So Carter Hutton backing up Remy Stallcup there wouldn't be awful if we needed him to step in. There's also Ben Bishop, but Ben Bishop, $3 million for 2 years. I don't know if I want to spend that much money, right? An extra $1 million, so I don't know. It hits the cap a little bit. We'll see. We definitely don't want Subban. Subban, 83 for a 7.25. We know that's obviously wrong. He's got to be better than an 83 to be asking for that much money. And to be honest, with Remy so high up now, I don't think we need a backup that's going to, you know, rival his overall. We need someone who can come in and spell him for a few games. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be either Bishop, Dubnyk, or Hutton. I will make that decision here in a minute. I'm leaning towards Hutton right now. While we were between episodes, I went and took care of all of our depth AHL signings. So I've already offered contracts, as you can see down there, 7 of them to AHL prospects, just to fill out that AHL team. Having taken a look at our team, really kind of focused it down into understanding what we have and what we need to fill. So I think what we're going to do is go ahead and offer Rielly a contract here. We're going to offer him $7 million. Yeah, we're going to offer him $7 million for 7 years. Let's see if he takes it. Vegas is the only other team interested. $7 million for 7 years. Yeah, $7 million for 7 years. Hopefully he takes it. It would be great if he did. We'll find out. And then for goalies, one last look at it here. Bishop, Dubnyk, or Hutton. I'm going to go with Hutton. There's going to be more people next year, so we'll give him a 1-year deal like he wants, and we'll just have to see how it goes. 1 year. We're even going to make sure we get him by throwing in an extra little bit there. $1 million or $2 million for 1 year for Carter Hutton. That shouldn't be a problem. We should be able to pick that guy up without too much trouble within the first few days here. So we're going to go ahead and take that necessary step. And I think we're good at this point. We're going to move on to seeing if we pick these two up and then move on for the rest of the season. So let's go ahead and do that. We've already got our scouts also taken care of in terms of offering the contracts to the ones we want to offer. So you'll see those popping up as well. All right, let's get right to it. In fact, we'll see scouts right away. Yeah, here we go. Here come the scouts. Let's get all this out of the way real quick. So I did a little bit of between episode micromanaging just to kind of clean things up. Hutton accepted. Good. Okay, all right, here's all of our AHL prospects coming in. Making sure we get all of them. Looks like we did. And Riley accepted. Okay, so there we go. We're going to have ourselves a good year next year, I think. I really do. All right, let's go ahead and advance to the next season. And I'm going to, while I'm here, make sure our trading block is clear because we don't want to be dealing with that. Good, it is. We don't want to be stopped. I have to go back and deal with it. All right, next season, here we go. Go ahead and sim to this, and I will see you in a second. Okay, it's time for next season. I'm going to jump in here, edit some lines. We'll set the captains. After that, I'm going to go ahead and take care of making sure all my scouts are in the right areas. And then once they get all of that micromanaging taken care of, we're going to go ahead and show you the team. But for now, give me a second to get things where I think they need to be. Be right back. Okay, we have our lines all set up for the season, and we're going to go ahead and show you those right now. Forsberg, Duchesne, and Hughes on the first line. We're going to run Di Salvatore, Perfetti, and Paling on the second line. Kaprizov we're going to throw on the left, even though he's a right winger, because we have Wahlstrom over here, and I'd rather have Wahlstrom on his passing hand and have Kaprizov over there, and perhaps he can get something done. If this doesn't work out, if this line is weak, we may have to flip Wahlstrom and Kaprizov, but this is the one I'm going to be keeping my eye on the closest. Jankowski in the middle there. Then we've got Noonan, Malone, and Homer here on the bottom. Malone and Homer are rookies. We may have to move them up, move them around. This bottom six is kind of in flux. On the scratch board, we have Tuft and Sissons. So we do have options if things don't go well there on the bottom six. And then on defense, we've got Morgan Riley with K'Andre Miller. We got Zadorov and Hamilton and Brodin and Christopher. We're going to go ahead and, for now, we're going to scratch Gerard. When it comes to goalies, we've got Stalkup and net. Hutton's going to back him up. And we're looking good. And then down in the AHL, we really don't have a whole lot to look at here. Obviously, Tanev is the guy we're watching to see if we can get him to grow a little bit this year. He's the potential elite, but I think it's low elite, right? Yeah, it's low elite. So I'm not holding my breath on that. And everything else is just pretty much here. It's just all stacked. That's the whole idea behind it, was just to get some significantly stacked lines and just kind of put something together down there that hopefully works. Defensively, we've got Piero Zabatel and York trying to hold things down there on that first line. Nielsen and Zitska here. Zaitska. Hopefully that's a good one. And then Stephenson and Borgen. In net, we're going to be running our two franchise potential goalies just to see if either one of them can grow significantly over the year, and we will keep an eye on that as well. So there you go. There's a look at our lineups for both the NHL and the AHL as we approach getting into this year. When it comes to captains, what we decided to do is we gave the captaincy to Duchesne. He's going to keep it this year. We have Hughes as the alternative so that when Duchesne moves on or when we move on from him, we can easily just promote Hughes to captaincy. And then we have K'Andre Miller also with the assistant captain down there or on the blue line to see if maybe he can provide some leadership. Not sure if he's the right guy for it, but that's who's got it right now. That may end up going to Christopher eventually. I think it does go to Christopher eventually. But for right now, until Christopher can get going, we want to make sure it's on somebody who's going to be playing top-line minutes, so he's out there as much as possible, getting in guys' ears, making sure they're in the game, stuff like that. So there we go. Those are the captains, and we've got our scouts all situated as well, so we're ready to begin. I'm going to jump right in here to it, and we're going to go ahead and get through preseason and see how we do. So let's go ahead and get that sim going here. We're going to have our scouts automatically taking care of things because we've got all of our scouts to the point now where they're all A or high B quality. And so there's no need for me to do it. We'll go ahead and let the computer take it over from there. All right, so preseason underway, off to a good start. We see wins against Florida, Boston, win against Toronto right there. Tampa Bay's up next. Got a shootout loss to Tampa Bay there. Another big win against Buffalo. And then final two games, we're going to get some notifications here in a second. Montreal, there's an overtime loss there, so a close game. Here's the first one. Salary, this is, I think it's salary cap is the first one. Just waiting on it to pop up. Here we go. There's the salary recap compliance. There we go. And then the next one's going to be waivers in effect. So waivers in effect. Injuries are on. 4-0-3. Very close games. We're losing close games in overtime, right? It's that's interesting. There's a shootout loss and then 2 overtime losses. So we're hanging with teams, and if we can find a way to win those games, we'll be in good shape. So we're going to have to keep an eye on things. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how the team did and see if there might be a problem maybe on the power play or penalty kill. See if there might be something we can tweak. All right, let's get in here. Take a look at how our team did. 26 goals, 4 over 7 games, so it's a 3-7-1. I'm pretty happy with that. 2-7-1 goals against is pretty high. We want to see that go down, that's for sure. Power play, 7 for 30 for a 23%. Power play looks good. And time shorthanded, 70%. Okay, so our penalty kill's not getting it done. So we need to fix our penalty kill. Let me take a look at that real quick and see if there might be some easy fix we can do. It might simply just be the people we've got in the combinations that we have there. So give me a second to sort this out and I'll be right back. Okay, there was not a whole lot that we can do here to fix this. And what we're going to do, just so you guys can see, is all I did was take the first line, put it on the second line for the penalty kill, and give these two up here a little bit more ice time. They're a little bit better defensively, and maybe we can just limit the amount of time these guys are out there. We'll be in better shape. But for right now, that's what we're going to do and see if that helps. I'm not 100% sure that's going to solve the problem. We just don't have very many options, so we'll have to keep our eye on it. There may be another way to deal with it by playing just other players up there on the penalty kill, but to be honest, we just don't have very good defensive players right now. We need these guys down here on the bottom to grow. Desmond, Khalil, and Jacob. We need all three of these guys to grow a little bit so that they can start taking up some penalty kill time. But until that happens, we're just going to have to deal with a tough penalty kill. All right, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make that change before the season starts. We'll go ahead and get through the first 10 games, see how we're doing, and go from there. Give me one quick second. I want to take care of one other quick micromanaging thing, and we'll go from there. Okay, guys? Give me 1 second. Okay, guys, we took care of that quick micromanage thing. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the season. Here we go. First 10 games, and then we'll take a look just to see if there's any issues. If there's no issues, we'll go ahead and finish out the... Actually, you know what we'll do? We'll just go up to the first... we'll just do the rest of this month. Let's do the rest of this month. And then we'll go month to month if we can. So that's going to be around 10 games. I think it's like 11 or something like that. Go ahead and bounce out of this as well. We've already got that taken care of. All right, first game is going to be in Florida on the road. Okay, loss and then a win to come back from that the next night. At home, second game. I was going to skip that. Go ahead and decline all that stuff and clear this all out. Keep forgetting to do this before the season starts. Get rid of all that stuff. And get rid of all these as well. Okay. Close games. Really close games. All of these are for the most part, except for the very first game of the year. All right, so 1-2-1 to start off. Not super pleased by that. We're just going to kind of see how this goes. Shutout win there. Nice. We need Stahl Cup to really play well. So we're going to give him a couple games here to get his feet under him. Shootout loss. All these are very, very close games. Let's see here. There we go. Couple wins. Excellent. We need a couple more wins here. 9 games in. All right, so 9 games in. We're at 5-2-2. We'll go ahead. I think that's enough. That's enough games where we can take a look and see how things are going, and see if we have to make any major issue changes here. We lost very close games, a lot of stuff in overtime, so I'm not super concerned right now. We're at 87.5% for points, which is good. 21 goals in 8 games, so just under 3. 17 in 8 games, just over 2. That is actually pretty good. Again, we just need to score a few more goals. Power play, 5 for 30 at 16%. Yeah, so the power play needs to be fixed. And the penalty kill worked. The changes we made to the penalty kill worked. All right, so let's see if we can do about fixing up the power play line. And then I think we're in good shape. If we can get that power play line humming, we'll be in really good shape. So give me a second here. I'm going to jump in and figure out what I can do about fixing this power play. And we will be back in just a second. Okay, we shuffled some guys around here. We're going to go with Forsberg, Duchesne, and Hughes, just like we had last year. Paling, Perfetti, and DeSalvatore. DeSalvatore, I think, was on that side last year. I could be wrong. We also had Kaprizov on the power play instead of Paling. How's he doing this year? That's 2 goals, 1 assist versus Kaprizov's what? 3 goals. Shoots left. I'm really tempted to... Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and put Kaprizov in there. He did really well last year. And we'll go ahead and run it so that DeSalvatore and Kaprizov are going to play on these lines here like this. And see if maybe that helps. Yeah, 2 snipers with the playmaker there in Perfetti. Perfetti's stats, 97 awareness, 90 passing. That should be really, really good. And then Duchesne, what we could do is we could run Perfetti up there with Hughes and Forsberg. Yeah, let's do that. We'll run Perfetti, Hughes, Forsberg all together, and then we'll run Duchesne down here with DeSalvatore and Kaprizov and see if that helps. Just looks like Paling wasn't getting it done, and let's try that. We tried Hughes in the middle, and let's see. Hughes in the middle ended up with no power play anythings, so that's not what we want. We need to see power play points, right? We need to see some power play points. So that first line wasn't producing any power play points at all. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We'll get those guys going, hopefully, with Perfetti, and then DeSalvatore, Duchesne, and Kaprizov down here. We'll just have to see how this goes. I mean, I like his shot. I like his shot. Yeah, let's go ahead and put Kaprizov over here. Let's give this a shot here. Let's see if this works. We'll do DeSalvatore on his passing hand with Kaprizov over here. We also have Christopher on his one-timer. Dougie Hamilton on his one-timer. Yeah, both of those guys have one-time shots. And then Riley's on his passing hand with Keandre Miller on his shooting. So we'll just have to see if that can get our power play going. All right, that's what we're going to do. Let's get back to the main calendar screen, and then we're going to go ahead and sim a whole month to see where we line up. We are currently... Oh, we were looking at the wrong one. We were looking at the wrong one. We were looking at Ottawa. Let me double check just to make sure we were good. See if there's any other significant issues here. There we go. That's what we wanted. We're actually 24 goals for, so very close to 3, and 19 very close to 2, just like I was saying. Yeah, no power play points at all with that power play, and our penalty kill was killing it. Yeah. We're good. We're good. We just need to get that power play going. We get that power play going, we're in real good shape. All right. We'll go ahead and sim through the month of November. I will be back in just a minute to show you how we did. And we're going to try to power through this as quickly as we can. Here we go. Okay, at the end of November, beginning of December here, we are 13-7-3. So after the month of November, we ended up doing all right. Over our last 10 games, we went 6-3-1. That's better than the 5-2-2 that we started off with. We can take a quick look at how our team is doing. Really fast here. Make sure we're on the right one. So we're getting about 2.78 goals for per game, 2.30 against. That's a little high, not quite high enough. Only 4 for 55 attempts. Yeah, the power play just isn't clicking at all. And our penalty kills come back down to earth. So, do need to work on the power play, and we need to figure out what we can do to get that going here, because we're missing opportunities. We're definitely missing opportunities. So let me take a look here and see what I can do. 1 second, guys. Okay, decided to make a couple quick changes here to the lineups. What I decided to do was switch Paling and Perfetti. We're going to go ahead and give Paling the centering duties, as he has much better face-offs than Perfetti does. And I wanted to see if that might get this second line going a bit, because it is not doing well right now with Perfetti and Paling at a positive but low, and Sir Salvatore at a -5. He was playing the penalty kill, and I think he's just got too much ice time. I think that's what it boils down. He just isn't, I don't think his endurance is ready for all that ice time. But who knows? And then we've got this third line here, wasn't really doing a whole lot either. +3, +0, -1. Kaprizov and Wallstrom, I just flipped them. And we're going to leave the bottom line alone. And then when we go to special teams, we changed some things up here. We're going to go ahead and put Hughes in the middle, Forsberg on the right, and Perfetti on the left. This puts Perfetti on his passing hand with a 97 offensive awareness and 90 passing. That should hopefully set up Hughes and Forsberg a little bit easier. Forsberg's playing on his normal hand for shooting, so his passing is still going to be pretty good too. And he also has great wrist shot ability there. So if it does come to him, he can always wrist it. So hopefully that'll be the case. Now Hughes in the middle. Hopefully he will benefit from all of that. He's got great shooting, so hopefully we'll see some more goals from him from the slot. We'll just have to see. Then on the bottom, we flipped Salvatore and Kaprizov in position. So we're going to go ahead and put Kaprizov over here on the left on his receiving hand. He doesn't have the greatest passing, but it just wasn't working out the other way around, so we're going to try it this way. And so we don't really have one-timers on this bottom line. It's more regular old wrist shots and whatnot, and see if we can work something down low, bang it home sort of thing. And that's just the way that line's going to have to play, because we just don't have output right now, and we need it. So we're going to go ahead and run Duchesne down here with Salvatore and Kaprizov. We're going to leave everything else the same on penalty kill. We did tweak this a bit. I took off DeSalvatore. I made sure Paling was playing, put Wahlstrom with him, and Homer's going to play with Jankowski. And we'll see how that goes. I want to get Homer on here. He doesn't have the greatest shot blocking, but his defensive awareness is really good at 86. And I want to get him out there so maybe he gets a little bit more defensive, and we'll have to go from there. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Jankowski, he's got an 85, so an 85, 86 there for defensive awareness. We take a Wahlstrom 85, 84 there for Paling. Again, Paling with 87 in faceoffs is great, and then you've got Jankowski with 84, so it's all about winning that faceoff and getting it out of the zone. That's what's going to help them the most, and killing off those penalties. So hopefully that will do. All right, let's get back to it, play up another month, and see how we do. All right, let's go. December, let's get all the way to January, and if we're doing well at the end of December here, then we will just go straight to the trade deadline. All right, if we're doing well. If not, we'll have to continue to mess with it a bit. All right, January 1st, here we come. Okay, we ended up going 7-5-1 over the month of December, and it's kind of up and down. It seems like we win a few, we lose a few. We win a few, we lose a few. We're kind of staying in position. We're currently in second place in our division, just a few points ahead of the wild card. This is a very dangerous and deep division, so that could very easily, if we lose too many games, have us on the outside looking in. So I want to take another look one more time just to see if we've made any progress on those special teams, and if so, then I think we're okay. But at this point, I'd like to, we're still letting in too many goals here at 256. 275, I'd like to get that up over 3, but it is becoming more and more difficult to do that. Nobody's over 3 right now in the division, so we've got comparatively a really good team in terms of shooting and getting goals in the but just not quite where I want it to be. And the goals against are high for everybody, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like it's high for everybody this year. 7, yeah, we're just not doing well. We're not doing well on the power play. We cannot get our power play going at all. All right, so, and then that keeps getting worse. Our penalty kill keeps getting worse. Everybody's penalty kill, though, is garbage this year. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It just seems like, oh, wow, look at that. 5 shorthanded goals for our penalty killers. That's interesting. They're taking too many chances is what it's boiling down to, and getting caught out of position, and then they're coming back down in transition and scoring. All right, well, let me take a look at maybe there might be an option I can do here in terms of a strategy that could help us with that power play. Give me a second. Let me see if I can figure this out. All right, we're going to go with an umbrella power play. I set it up so that hopefully they play that way. We'll see. And let's take a look at how our guys are doing here. First line is doing really well. First line is doing what I need them to do. All plus players by a lot, shutting things down and getting points. That's what we wanted out of all of that. Second line is just not getting it done. Yeah, the second line is just not getting it done. Third line is struggling as well, and then the fourth line's absolutely killing it. All right, so let's make some changes. Give me a second here, and I will come up with some new lines, because these 2 middle lines are just not getting it done, and we can't have that. We need to be scoring and winning games here. So let's make some changes here. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, brand new lines almost across the board here. We're going to go ahead and run DeSalvatore on the first line because he's an 88 overall now, and I really want to get him up there. I think that between him, Hughes, and Forsberg, we got a really good sniper, playmaker, power forward setup, and I think that is going to work out really well. If we need to move Duchesne back to the first line because these guys aren't getting it done, I will do that, but the big thing is to get DeSalvatore going here. He's a -9, and the only way I can do that is to get him up here with Forsberg and Jack, or Jack and Forsberg. Jack and Phillip. Good Lord, I can't talk right now. All right, and then we're going to run Duchesne, Perfetti, Wallstrom here. Kaprizov, Paling, Homer here. We may flip these two if it's not working out on these two lines. But it's one of those things where I need to keep track of how everybody's doing so I can see if these lines are going up or down. And then we're going to run Noonan, Jankowski, and Malone on the bottom line. Defensively, we moved some things around as well. We moved Hamilton back to the first line, Miller down to the second line with Zadorov, just to try to get these guys going. Miller just wasn't getting it, wasn't doing very well up there on that first line. Only 18 total points in 36 games. That's a point every other game, plus minus of even. That's great. But, you know, we want Hamilton doing some stuff here, too. And so we're going to go ahead and get Hamilton some more ice time. And Zadorov was doing really well. And we're just trying to get Morgan Riley and Miller kind of going. Bottom line was doing fantastic, so we didn't mess with it. 14, plus 14 for both of those guys. So really, really good. And then on the special teams, we've got Forsberg, Hughes, and DeSalvatore. Duchesne, Perfetti, Paling. We switched Hamilton and Miller on this line. And then penalty kill, we went with Paling, Homer, Jankowski, and Malone, just to see if we can get that going. And finally, the goalies, Stalcup and Hutton still. Hutton is dropping off. He has lost 6 of the 8 games that he has played. He is playing absolutely terrible for us, so we're hoping he doesn't play too many more. And then you've got Stalcup, who is having a 9.27 year with a 2.14. Played 30 games so far and has won 18 of them. So he's having a really, really good year at 90 overall. We just need him to hang on there a little bit longer, try to get us through this year. Yeah, Charlie Hutton, probably not the best choice, but we just need him to spell, and I wish he would do better because we could really use a few extra games from our backup goalie, that's for sure. Looks like we're probably a wild card team or a third-place team this year. So that's kind of what my thought process is, and we'll see if all those changes work. Let's get back to the sim. I'm going to take this another month to February and see where we're at. Right now we're in second place. Actually, before I do that, I need to go ahead and keep track of where everybody's at in terms of points. So give me a second to track all this stuff, and then I will be back to get us through that next month. All right, we got our guys' stats ready to be tracked. We just need to go ahead and go through this next month. So let's get through the month of January here. We'll come back and see how we did. Hopefully these changes helped. Here we go. All right. I think the changes we made took a real good effect. In the month of January, we ended up going 9-2-1. That was a heck of a month. And we started off great with 2 wins, and then a loss, and then a win. So we ended up going on like a 6-1. What was it? Yeah, it was 6-1 after 7 games. Finally took another loss here in regulation to Detroit, 7-2. Or I'm sorry, 6-2. 7-2 here with Toronto, and then 8-2 against Vegas. And then we had a couple injuries. We had an injury. Let's see. We had an injury here in this game, I think, to Wallstrom. He was out for a few games, so we replaced him. Then Ryan Paling got injured here in this game. We had to replace him. So we ended up winning this game with 2 backups in the 2 depth guys playing. And then this game we ended up losing because we just couldn't get them all back in time. And then we got everybody back for the end of the month. So everybody's healthy again. So not bad. 9-2-1 over the month of February, I think, or I'm sorry, January. I think we did a really good job there in that month. We've got the trade deadline next month on the 3rd, so we can get one more month of simming in. I think we're just going to go ahead and do that, and I will stop right before the trade deadline and see if we want to make any trades. All right, so here we go. Month of February. Okay, we've made it to the month of March, and we did all right in the month of February. It wasn't quite as good as the month of January because we had a bit of an injury right here after the Columbus game. During the Columbus game, Morgan Riley had an abdominal strain, and he was going to miss, it looks like 6 games because he was coming back on the 26th. We go ahead and we replaced him. We won the first 2 games, and then we hit a 4-game losing streak before we could get him back. So we lost 4 games there without him. So we went 2-4 without Morgan Riley. We definitely need him in on that blue line if we're going to win some games. So unfortunately, we lost him there, and it kind of hurt our. It hurt us a little bit there down the stretch here, the second half of the month. But if he can keep healthy, we don't run into any more of those problems, we may be okay. So, but we started off real good with a 5-2 moving out of that game, and then 7-2, and then the wheels fell off. 7-6, and then we won the last game 8-6 over the month. So 8-6 over the month, unfortunately, because we lost Morgan. But we are now right before the trade deadline. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the contract situation, see if there's anybody we want to move or have to move before we head off into the playoffs. Because at this point, we're top of our division, but only barely, with the Senators right on our heels. And we also have Washington over in the other end of the conference. They're right there as well. And it looks like we're all vying for the President's Trophy. So we won the President's Trophy last year. We just need to see if we can do it again. We're in a bit of a dogfight for it this year. We're not running away with it like we were. Now, had we not lost Morgan Riley right there, we might be running away with it. If we had won, 3 of those 4 games, we definitely would. So it's one of those things where we lost Morgan, and we're in a bit more of a dogfight for it, but, it is what it is. So let me take a look at the contracts. I'll be right back. I'll try to figure out if we need to move anybody. Hang in. Okay, guys. After taking a look at the situation and understanding what it is that we have coming back next year and who wants to come back and who doesn't want to come back, the one player who does not want to come back on a UFA right now is Dougie Hamilton. And Dougie Hamilton, in order to get that trade value, we're going to definitely want to trade him now before the draft. We're deep enough at defense at the blue line that I think we can go ahead and do this without it impacting us too badly. We're going to find out, though. This is a bit of a gamble, but I think that we're good. We're in right now. As long as we make the playoffs, that's what matters. All right, and then we've got a couple options here. One of the options was trading him to Vancouver. Now, Vancouver is on the outside looking in. They are at 71 points. They are just outside of a wild card spot. And if we take a look at their defense, they could use him. They could definitely use him. But we're going to want somebody back, and we're also going to want to pick. So let's go ahead and take a look at what they have for draft picks. Make sure they've got a first, and they do, and they want to give it up. So we'll go ahead and take the first. And defensively, we want somebody back. What can we do defensively? Who do we want back? Someone that isn't going to... This would be perfect right here, I think. Mayfield. He's only got 1 year left. We can take him back. He doesn't have that much trade value, so it doesn't impact the value of the trade that much. So we're going defenseman for defenseman. He's going to be our depth guy because our depth guy is going to come up. Gerard's going to come up off the bench and start to play. So I think I like that. 30 years old. We'll just offload him in the offseason, so we clear all that. All the cap space gets cleared off for this trade, and it opens things up because we're going to need it. We've got Stalkup coming up on his big boy deal trade time, and we need as much room in the cap as we can get. I might have overlooked that a little bit when thinking about Morgan Riley, and we may still have to do a few things, but I think this might not be a bad option here. This gives them a better shot at making the playoffs, and if they miss, hey, we get their first round, right? So let's go ahead and take that defenseman back the other way. We'll take Mayfield. All right, so Mayfield and round 1 for Dougie Hamilton. Can I get more? I might be able to get a little bit more out of this. We can try a draft pick, an extra draft pick. Why not? Let's throw a third on there. Yeah, that looks close. First and a third, and Mayfield to satisfy the contract situation for Dougie Hamilton. Will this go through? Accepted. We believe this transaction will contribute to the success here in Vancouver. We are accepting your trade offer. All right. So we get the guys and the draft picks, and we'll be all right. We needed that first round draft pick just to keep our prospect pool strong. So give me a second. Let me get the defense sorted out here real quick. Okay, we got the lines all squared away. We made our trade. That's the only trade we're going to make at the trade deadline. And now we're going to move on to the end of the season. Let's just go ahead and get it done. And that's going to do it for this season. We end it with a record of 48, 26, and 8. What does that do for us? That puts us in first place in our division with 104 points. And it looks like third place in our conference. So we've got the Capitals and the Blue Jackets who outscore or outpoint us 50 and 49 wins respectively. And we come up with 48, so not bad. So 103, that beats them. All right, so we are the third best team in the league. Everybody in the East. Oof, there's a lot in the East. Let's take a look at how we did this year for our players. We'll start with the team overall, and then we will find out who our opponent is in the playoffs. So the Quebec Nordiques in the Atlantic Division, come up with 237 goals for, just under 3 goals a game. Just under 2.5 goals against at 201. That could be better, but, you know, it is what it is. We had a backup goalie who probably could have won us a few more games had he been a little bit better, but we know better for next year. No more grabbing just that last guy for one last year. That was a little bit of a mistake, but not too bad. 17% on the power play. We've seen better years for that. We've messed with it a bunch at the beginning of the year, just couldn't get it going. Thankfully, it got up to 17%, though. One shorthanded goal against on all that. 39 for 205 for an 81% on the penalty kill. That's fine. I'd like to see it closer to 83, 84, but, you know, it is what it is. 7 shorthanded goals for. So we stopped scoring shorthanded goals. We went 5-3-2 over the last 10, so we did not finish up the season as strongly as I had hoped. All right, first thing I'm going to take a look at in terms of our players is going to be goalies. Stahl Cup, 65 games played, 38 of them won, 20 losses on his end for a 9.25 and a 2.22. Not bad. That's a good year for a goalie. 7 shutouts for him. Hutton, he played 22 games. He actually did pick it up after we stopped to look at him. After what was it, 8 games and 2 wins. So 8 games and 2 wins to 22 and 10. That's actually not too bad. So 906, 281. I mean, obviously he did not have a great season, but he did what he needed to do, which is win his 10 games, and that's why we're in the playoffs right now. All right, so there's our goalies. Let's take a look at the defensemen. 48 points there for Keandre Miller. Morgan Riley had 35. Christopher ended up with 13. Zadorov with 13. Brodin had 11, and then Mayfield played on another team, so we're not going to count his stuff. And then Girard came in for the last bit after we traded Hamilton, and came up with 6 points, 3 and 3. So he was a +6 over those 26 games. That's pretty solid. So I'm pretty happy with that. He's an 82 overall, playing on there on that third line. I think he's going to be just fine. Going to be just fine. All right, he ended up at a +6. Mayfield we're not going to count, so Zadorov and Christopher at 4 and 8. All right, Brodin, and it was Brodin and Christopher who were at 14 and 14. So obviously Christopher playing with Zadorov isn't working out super well. I think they're both left-handed players. I might switch their sides because I think Zadorov was playing better on the other side, but I'll just have to take a look at that. And Keandre Miller, he ended up picking up 2 points, or a +2. He was really behind the ball as well, but I don't know why. That's so weird. And Morgan Riley shot up. Morgan Riley, when these two were playing before, he was only like a plus, I don't know, he was really low. Now he's a +25. That's really good. So hopefully this is trending all in the appropriate and correct direction, but we will see. We will see. So a couple power play points there for Christopher and Brodin. Not bad. Not bad. All right, let me take a look at our forwards. Leading the team in the forwards is going to be Jack Hughes. Surprise, surprise. 71 points in 82 games. 39 goals for him. That's really good. He was at 16 goals when we made the switch on the massive line changes. So going from 16 goals to 39 goals, that's pretty good. I would have to say that those line changes worked. He ended up increasing his +- by 4, so that's positive. Forsberg kept his +- relatively even and ended up picking up an additional 9 goals since that switch over, a ton more assists, and his points increased by 25. He picked up 25 points since that switch. And then DeSalvatore came in at a -9. He only picks up 2+, a +2 over that entire time. He didn't have the worst year in the world, but he did pick up 11 goals since that switch. He also picked up an additional 21 assists. So, you know, 11 goals, 21 assists, and that'll give him a pretty good year. Hopefully that will be enough to keep him growing, but we will see. Looks like he's doing much better up on that line than he was in other places. Paling, he was not doing awesome either. He had 9 goals, 6 assists, and a +0. He ends up with a +10 with 27 goals on the line he's playing with right now with Duchesne. It's Duchesne, Paling, and I believe it is Wallstrom down there with them. And that makes a lot of sense. So, Duchesne, how did he do on that switch over? Duchesne, Duchesne was at a 5-18 and a +20. He ends up +4 beyond the switch and picked up 9 goals with an additional 10 assists. So 19 points since that switchover, which was just under halfway through the season. So he definitely slowed down on the second line, but I think he helped everybody out around him. Kaprizov, he had 9 goals at the switch with 6 assists and a -2, so he ends up with a +10 to cinch the switch. So that was a pretty solid change for him. Perfetti was another one who was really struggling before the change. He had 4 goals, 10 assists, and a -3. So 4 goals, 10 assists. He ends up picking up 6 goals, 20 assists for 26 points, and a +2. So still letting in goals on that line, but the more they grow, the better they will get, the less goals they'll let in. Homer was 3 goals, 9 assists, and a +1. You can see he definitely increased the assists. I think the assists are, I don't know what the big change is there, but it was probably just play style, people they're playing with, stuff like that. Wallstrom was doing really not that bad before the changeover, and it looks like he stayed pretty much on track with what he was doing. He had 7 goals, 9 assists, and a -1, so he ends up with +4 over that time, and pretty much just doubles his efforts. So not bad at all. Not bad at all there. Jankowski had 2 goals, 10 assists, and a -4, so he ends up +4, and picked up 5 goals and 11 assists. So okay, on that fourth line. Going down there on the fourth line to help out really helped the team get some goals and really secured the bottom 6 for us, making us a much more defensive team. So we're going to have to take a look at how we handle this in the future. I don't know if we want to spend as much money as we're paying Jankowski for a bottom liner there, the fourth line guy, but that is something we're going to have to look at, especially with the amount of money we're going to need in this offseason. So something we'll have to think about, but not today, definitely a different day. And then finally, we've got Malone and Noonan, these last 2 guys here. Malone was doing okay. He had 3 goals, 12 assists, and a +6, so he picked up another 4. And more assists, so lots of assists there. And then Noonan was at 8 goals, 4 assists, and a +4. He stayed even, but picked up some more goals. So not bad. Everybody grew. Everybody benefited from the changes, it looks like. It didn't look like anybody really fell off outside of Duchesne, but Duchesne made the other guys around him better. So I think that all worked out in the long run. I really do. So not bad for year number 5. I believe this is year number 5. Yeah. We'll go ahead and get to the playoffs here and see who our opponent is going to be. So, let's see. Who's it going to be? Who is it going to be? It is going to be Philadelphia. All right, we'll take a quick look at the tree and then we'll wrap it up. So, we are going to be playing against Philadelphia at the bottom end of the Eastern bracket. Buffalo's taking on Ottawa, so we'll take on the winner of those if we can get past Philadelphia. You got Washington taking on Tampa Bay, and then you've got Columbus taking on Carolina. So interesting Eastern Conference there. Over in the West, you've got Winnipeg taking on Nashville, Dallas taking on Chicago, Anaheim taking on Calgary, and Edmonton taking on Arizona. And the good news is Vancouver is not there. That means we end up getting their first round pick, and it is a lottery pick. It is a lottery eligible pick. It doesn't have a great lottery chance, but it's definitely there. So hopefully we'll win the lottery. That would be great, right? That would be amazing. But we won't know that for at least a few more months. We've got to get through the playoffs first. First playoff game is going to be against Philadelphia in a couple days, or actually this particular day. We're starting off. So we will see you next time when that kicks into high gear. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you liked the video, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and make sure that notification bell is turned on so that you know when we put up the next episode. And if you want to watch us live, you can always do so on Twitch at The Final Knight Errant. That's my channel. We're there every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We hope to see you there, and until next time, we will talk to you later.